Hi, and welcome to the Phreesia dashboard launch for integrated practices. In this training video, you will learn how to navigate the Phreesia dashboard, run batch insurance checks, edit and resubmit those insurance checks, explore insurance verification responses in detail, check patients in on the dashboard, collect payments through the dashboard, reconcile those payments, review the core reports, edit patient balance information, and understand the dashboard icons. Total time for this video is 45 minutes. Let's start by reviewing the general dashboard layout. I'm going to start at the beginning here. Here we're on a web browser. I'm using Firefox. I'm going to simply type in the Phreesia website, phreesia.com. Once at phreesia.com, I'm going to navigate to the far right-hand side. This is the practice login link, and this is going to redirect us to the Phreesia dashboard login page. Once on the Phreesia login page, it's a good idea to bookmark this page. So I'm going to bookmark it and add it to my bookmark toolbar. You can also just add it to your normal bookmarks if you like. At this point, you should have logins to the Phreesia dashboard. If not, please contact your Phreesia security officer. This will be someone at your practice who is responsible for maintaining the logins for your practice. I'm going to check the Keep Me Logged In All Day checkbox. This checkbox makes sure that I don't get kicked out of the dashboard while moving between different systems. And finally, if you forget your password or need help, you can click on the link which will send you an email, or simply give us a shout at our 800 number. Now we're looking at the Phreesia dashboard. The Phreesia dashboard is logically separated into 3 distinct buckets that follows your patient flow throughout the day. This first bucket is your pre-registered, and this is your imported schedule. Because you're an integrated practice, we're going to pull your schedule into the Phreesia dashboard on a recurring basis. Some core information we're pulling in are things like basic demographics, so this will be patient name, date of birth, the attending physician, the appointment time for the patient, and then balance and co-payment information. The second bucket, this is the registration in progress. Later, when patients begin checking in on the Phreesia tablets, when they're in the process of checking in, you will see them show up in the middle bucket. Finally, this is your checked in bucket. This is the bucket that the patients will hit as soon as you've checked them in, either through the dashboard or on a Phreesia pad. In this bucket and in this video, we will use the checked in bucket to collect payments through the dashboard. Let's take some time to get oriented with some of the major components of the Phreesia dashboard. Phreesia will show one schedule for each individual location. I'm going to move over here to the location dropdown on the far right hand side. Here you can see we have both a main location and a second location. So that's main office and second office. Also, it'll be important to navigate forwards and backwards in time depending on which schedule you want to look at. This is useful when you want to run batch insurance checks in advance for a day into the future. So if you check 3 days in advance, you could simply click 3 days out and then run an insurance check. You can simply change your password by clicking on the link here. This will tell you who you're logged in as and also give you the ability to log out. Phreesia has some built-in dashboards that let you track your progress in terms of collections and the breakdown of those collections throughout the day. There are simple ways to change the dashboard view. If I click on that button, what just happened is it's going to actually expand the pre-registered list. If there was a very large list, let's say 200 patients, it may be easier to work in this mode. Most practices work in the distributed mode, which has all three buckets, pre-registered, registration in progress, and checked in, expanded. There's a nice search capability built into the pre-registered and checked-in buckets that allow you to work with large lists easily. For example, if I start to type in a patient name, the list will actually filter down to any patients that contain whatever I've typed in into the search box. At the top of the columns, you can sort by any of the column headers. For example, by default, we're sorting by appointment time. You may want to sort by physician if you're working with a certain physician. And as always, we appreciate your feedback. Phreesia has been developed by feedback from all of our existing customers, and we try our best to incorporate many of your ideas into the product. Well, that's it for the general overview. Congratulations, you now know how to navigate the Phreesia dashboard. Next, we're going to spend some time running a batch insurance check. To start, we're going to go to the category menu. We're going to click the first link that says Send E&B, which stands for Eligibility and Benefits for All Patients. Now, when we run this, it'll take up to 15 seconds per patient. So typically, this is run first thing in the morning. You'll notice that as soon as we click that button, we're going to see spinning circles in the E&B column. As we get results back from our clearinghouse, we're going to see those results show up. Now that that's been completed, we can see that we have a mix of responses. The Phreesia insurance results uses a traffic system color coding. Green is eligible. This means the patient is eligible to receive benefits as outlined. Red exclamation marks mean inactive or not eligible. This means that we should get updated insurance information from the patient. Uninsured patients come in as do not enter signs. These patients should be put on a self-pay plan. And finally, if we don't recognize a patient, then we'll return a yellow question mark. Next, we're going to run an insurance check for a future date. Remember in the first module, we looked at this calendar. So let's go ahead and pick tomorrow. Now that we're on tomorrow's schedule, we can just use the same action button to rerun a batch insurance check. Simply click OK, and here we see it's rerunning the checks. That's it. Now we know how to navigate the Phreesia dashboard and run insurance checks against your daily and future schedules. In the next module, we're going to go into a little bit more depth in terms of the insurance results. All right, now we're going to edit and resubmit insurance checks. So we're back here on the Phreesia dashboard, and we're going to work again with our insurance checks in the E&B, or eligibility and benefits column. So we're going to work to get any insurance check that has come back as a different status than eligible to an eligible status. Let's first look a little bit at our deductible meter. Phreesia, this is new to Phreesia, and the way this works is basically it's a bar system. So one bar represents that there's between $0 and $500 remaining on the deductible, 2 bars between $5 and $1,000, and then if you see 3 bars, that means there's over $1,000 remaining. If I click on the E&B circle, that green circle, it's actually going to bring me into the E&B summary page. The E&B summary is not the full details, but we try to pull out the most important details in the 270-271 transaction so that it's available at a glance. As I scroll through the results that have come back, we can see different co-payments that we've been able to parse out, report on co-insurance, there's the deductible that I was talking about, the $350 remaining, and then any other details like out-of-pocket or an active health plan. You can also see the E&B transaction date that was run, and these will be based on when you actually run the check. Let's look at the second one here. This one's a little bit different. And again, this is payer specific. And here we can see that we've actually parsed out quite a few different co-payments. Again, a co-insurance section and the active health plan. Next, let's look at an insurance check that is missing patient information. So here we can see the patient information that we're missing, and we were not able to complete an insurance check because we did not have all of the information. In the yellow boxes in the pop-ups, there's some how-to information. This is inline help that will help you edit and resubmit this insurance check. I'm going to click the Edit and Resubmit button, and that's going to bring me to this page here. So I'm going to say, yes, the patient has health insurance. I'll select from the list that we have pre-configured for your practice. I'll enter in a policy ID, if necessary, a group number, and I'll say that the patient is the primary holder. When I hit Save and Submit here, we're actually going to resend this request to the clearinghouse. And now you can see the insurance check as returned eligible. Also notice that we've populated the copay column. Phreesia has a copay calculator that allows you to pull out a copayment based on the insurance check that we get back. In this example, you can see that we've used a PCP visit. If you were a specialty practice, we would target the specialist copayment. If I want to switch the copayment to one of the other available options based on the insurance check results, I can simply click it and save the changes. Alternatively, I can override the copayment. Last, let's look at this inactive status. So in this scenario, the patient is inactive. The patient has come up to the front desk, and we want to edit and resubmit this insurance check with the patient's new insurance information. So there's a new policy ID number for this patient. So I'm going to simply enter that. And again, I'll save and submit the insurance check. Okay, great. That came back as eligible. And now I can go in and review the details of the patient's new policy. Notice that all of the EMB checks have come back as eligible. You will typically work the Phreesia dashboard, especially the pre-registered section, to try and obtain eligible responses for all of your patients. Congratulations! We've navigated the Phreesia dashboard, run the batch insurance checks, and now know how to edit and resubmit those insurance checks. In the next lesson, we're going to see the extended responses that come back from our clearinghouse. Alright, so we're back on the dashboard. Now that we have eligible responses for our entire schedule, I may need to know something that is not contained in the eligibility and benefits summary. To do that, I'm going to click the View Details button down here under the Follow-up Actions. Once I click this will actually navigate me to a different section of the Phreesia portal. We're looking at the entire response back from our clearinghouse. A lot of this information is in the summary, but depending on the pair, there could be up to 15 pages of information that comes back. As I scroll down the page, you'll notice that I get some general provider details, and further down, we have collapsible menus that will expose the details in any of the insurance sections. This will also tell you things like in-network and out-of-network benefits. I'll take a minute just to scroll you down the page, just so you can see how much information we do get back. We try our best to organize it into these charts. Some practices like to print off this information or print to a PDF so that they can maintain it on file. Here we are in the routine physical section. Again, lots of information here. And for pediatrics, here's a well baby care section. I'm going to quickly scroll back up to the top. And then to get back to the dashboard, I'm just going to move over here and click the dashboard link. Okay, great. Now we're back on the Phreesia dashboard. That's it for insurance verification. If you have additional questions, be sure to be writing them down. When you talk to your Phreesia specialist next, we can go through and answer your outstanding questions. All right, great. So now we know how to explore insurance verification responses in detail, along with the other 3 sections. The next module, we're actually going to go ahead and begin to check in patients on the dashboard. All right, dashboard check-ins. It's pretty simple to check in a patient on the dashboard. All you do is click on the patient's name and then go down to the menu option that says Check Patient In. Once I click that, you're going to notice the patient moves from the pre-registered bucket down into the checked-in bucket. So we've accounted for this patient's visit, and they are now checked in. Let's do that again for another patient. Okay, great. Now we have 2 patients checked in. You will simply repeat this process when patients come in until you've moved them all from the pre-registered bucket into the checked-in bucket. It's pretty easy. So that's it. That's how you check a patient in on the Phreesia dashboard. At this point, you're about halfway through this tutorial video, so it might be a good time to take a break and write down some of your other questions. The next section is a major section and where we'll start taking payments directly through the Phreesia dashboard. So you should use your Phreesia dashboard to capture all of your payments. And I'll show you the reconciliation report a little bit later. There are a few different places where it'll tell you what your outstanding balances or your balances due are. In the checked-in bucket, you'll notice that all balances that are owed to you are highlighted in orange. If I click on any of the balances, it opens up a payment dialog where I can specify what type of payment I'm taking. So credit card, cash, check, or payment plan. Phreesia accepts all major credit card types, so that's Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express. By clicking the cash button, I'm making note that this is a cash payment. If I'd like, I could email a receipt to the patient, but I'm just going to confirm the cash payment for now. Phreesia will automatically print out receipts to your printer at the front desk. But let me just show you what a receipt looks like while we're here. Okay, great. So this is the patient copy of the receipt. We also produce a merchant copy. But after taking a dashboard payment, you'll hand the patient their copy of their receipt. If they pay on a credit card, you're going to want them to sign the receipt as well so that you have record. Notice that as soon as we've done that, it's moved from the orange highlighted in the balance column and is moved over to the paid column. There's also a green circle indicating that we've successfully collected that payment. Up here in our dashboards, we'll see that the collections is now at $10 off the previous balances due. So let's repeat this. Now let's collect both a patient balance and a copayment. This time, I'm going to collect the money via check. A lot of practices use this memo field to capture the check number, and when you see the reconciliation report later, you'll see where that shows up. So just like the cash payment, I'm going to confirm the check payment, and we'll automatically print off a patient receipt. So this time I won't open it. Again, the balance moves over to the paid column, and we will repeat this until we have all money accounted for. All right, let's talk a little bit about partial payments. Here you can see the partial payment button. If a patient doesn't want to pay the full balance, we can break this into 2 partial payments. So let's say the patient can only pay $10. Notice that we've split the balance into 2 partial payments, and we're going to capture one of the 2 partial payments, so the $10. So I'll confirm that. What you're going to see this time is $10 move over to the paid column, and then the remaining $2.34 remains in the balance column. Again, we can check out the dashboard to see how we're doing against today's balances due. All right, finally, we're going to look at a credit card payment. There are two ways to take a card payment. If the card is present, you can swipe the card. If not, you can do what I'm doing here and type in the card number. I can hit submit and take that payment. Most of the time, the card will be present and you'll use the swipe capability. Phreesia will be sending you these USB swipe readers that'll plug into your computers so that all you have to do is swipe the credit card through the reader instead of having to key in the card information. So that's what I'm doing right now. So I just swiped my credit card. Notice that it's going to be processing, and great, the transaction was successful. You can see my name with the card type, the Visa, the last 4 digits. Because I took it through the dashboard, I'm going to make sure that I hand the patient this merchant receipt for them to sign off on. I'm going to keep the merchant receipt on file. Notice again that the money has moved from the balance to the paid column. So we've collected all of our balances with the exception of that $2.34 because the patient could only pay a partial balance. Everything is green, so that means good to go. So that's it. That's how you take payments or collect payments through the dashboard. Next, we're going to spend some time looking at the reconciliation report. The reason it's important to capture your cash and check payments through the Phreesia dashboard is because they will all show up on this nice payment reconciliation report you can use at the end of the day to post out. In the dashboard, in the collections dashboard, I'm going to click the View Reconciliation Report. Here's what it looks like. From a multi-location practice, I can toggle or filter based on the location. I can do the same thing based on the users. So Phreesia is the Phreesia pad, and then the other users are the users that are taking payments through the dashboard. In the collection summary, we group all of the different card types by user and how much was collected. We also show you a roll-up of all those credit cards, and then the cash and check payments, and finally a total. Next, at the end of day details, this is a breakdown of each transaction. So you'll have the patient name, date of birth, the physician they were there to see, the amount, how they paid, the payment type, and the description. So here we can see a mixture of copays and balances. Finally, if you have multiple locations, we do break it out by location and organize it as such. The last piece here, this is a little legend at the bottom of the reconciliation report that tell you what type of payment it was. If you see it in the type column, a PP, this is a payment plan that was automatically run and collected for you. Other codes include RE for refunds, OP for online payments through an email or through your website. And then a non-visit payment would be a patient that either called in to pay a balance but didn't have anything on the schedule, or they dropped in to give you a check. So you can record all of these payments so they're on that report. That's it. The reconciliation report should make it pretty easy for you to batch it at the end of the day and keep all of your payments in one spot. This isn't the only report in Phreesia, and in the next section, we're going to look at some of the other reports. All right, now we're on to reporting. So we have different reports to help you accomplish different tasks. Some are billing and some are more for front desk workflow. One is the day sheet, and the day sheet is really just a representation of your schedule for that day. Some practices print this out and keep it handy. It'll tell you things like the balances you're expecting to collect and who the patient's there to see. You can generate this report at different points in the day and show the split between patients in pre-registered and in checked-in. Next, I'm going to focus on some financial reports. So let's first look at transaction history. Okay, so in all of our logs, we have the ability to select different time intervals. So here we see the control that lets you select today, the week, or the month. You can also filter by location, by physician, or by payment type or transaction type. So I'm just going to simply go over here and select for the past month. So here's a list of all the transactions that have been run in the last month, including refunds, cash payments, partial payments, payment plans. Your billing office may want to export this to Excel to make it easier to work in. We can do that, simply export by transaction or by product, and then you can save the report to Excel. I'll just cancel that. Next, I'm going to move over to the Reports and Settings tab, and we're going to talk a little bit about our advanced reporting. So this is something that we'll go into more depth later in training, but basically you can request reports through Phreesia. And all of these reports are generated overnight, so you'll make the request, and when you come in the next day, you'll be able to download the zip file of that report. We'll also send you an email notification letting you know that the report's available. The available reports will show up down here once they're generated, and you can simply come into the Phreesia dashboard, come back to the advanced reports, and pull it down. Next, we're going to take a look at our payment plans. And this is the screen that shows you all the payment plans that we currently have set up. You can sort these by status, current payment plans, anyone that's producing a warning, anybody that's defaulted, or plans that you've canceled, or even plans that have been fully paid off. We'll store a card on file for the payment plans, and then we'll run the payment plan transaction the same date, the following month. So if there's 3 months, we take one today, we'll do it 30 days from today, next month, and automatically run that for you. The final report is our monthly value report. This is posted into your portal about halfway through the following month. There's lots of really good information on this report, and this gives you insight into kind of your KPIs or key performance indicators. It's got some nice analytics in here, kind of breaks down all of your check-ins and what you've collected to date for this given month. We'll give you information about your insurance verification responses. So here we can see how many inactive patients we've flagged or caught. We'll give you a breakdown of your insurance provider mix, breakdown of your top chief complaints, average age, and then even things like how did you hear about the practice for marketing. This section here, this tells you your average interview time, so the difference or the split between how long it takes returning patients and new patients to check in. And then finally, here are your total cards process and your platform fees and license fees. The final page in this report is a breakdown of all of your daily batches. So it'll give you the batch date, the settle date, the batch number, and then how much that batch was for. So at a glance, this is a kind of a monthly review for you. gets you all of your batch information as well as the platform fees and transactions, and gives you insight into other analytics within your office. All right, so we're making good progress here. We've reviewed the core reports. You're almost dashboard experts, and let's look at editing patient balances. All right, for editing patient balances, we're going to be importing balances from your practice management or billing system, but it might be necessary to come in here and adjust a balance before the patient comes in. So let's look at this balance. Here you can see it's over $6,000. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove this balance. And to remove it, I'm simply going to click this X here. And it'll drop it down just to the $30 copayment. And then I'm going to add in another balance amount. So let's do $500. I can enter a description. This description will show up as part of the reconciliation report. It'll also show up on the pad for the patient and on the receipt. And I can add I can add multiple patient charges, so we can do it by line item. But in this case, I'll just add one. And then I'm going to click hit done here. The balance has now been updated, so now it's reflecting the $530 balance. Billing Office can use some of these tools that are in the dashboard to notify the front desk of changes that they're making. So here I'm just going to add a note saying that the patient was on a previous payment plan and we're collecting $500 towards that plan. And you'll notice as soon as I hit add here, you can add multiple patient notes, and it does time and date stamp it. And when there is a note on file, the note icon will turn bright yellow. I can also check the patient flag if I want. Again, just to use as a workflow tool to alert the front desk that there's something special about this patient. So that's it. In that, we just edited the patient balance information. And the last part of this section is really understanding some of the core icons on the Phreesia dashboard, along with pointing out where you can get additional help. So let's review some of the dashboard icons. The dashboard has quite a few different indicators that you can click on that will give you information. Everything is clickable in the Phreesia dashboard, so if you see an icon, simply click on it. First, let's go to the Help and Training Center. The Help and Training Center is kind of a key resource for practices. They can get a lot of their frequently asked questions answered. You can also access some live help that's available online at Phreesia. I'm going to go over into the patient check-in section, and we're looking for the dashboard status icons. All right, so down here, this link here, I'm going to simply click on it, and it's going to bring me to a page of content that is all about the Phreesia dashboard icons. So here we go. Note that you can always call us if you have questions, and I'm sure you'll have questions after this training tutorial, so write them down and we will review it with your Phreesia specialist. I'm just going to flip over here, let's make it a little bit bigger. So let's go through the patient status icons. You may want to take some time and pause the screen to review these icons. As you begin working in the dashboard, simply click around and it'll give you more kind of inline examples of these different icons and the statuses. So that's it. We've completed this training module, and you're now ready for a Phreesia dashboard launch after talking to your Phreesia specialist. Either contact your Phreesia specialist directly, or you can call our customer support line and be transferred to your Phreesia specialist. Thank you.